Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm D6K and this is my walkthrough slash guide on how to do the Outbreak early rounds to then start getting to the high rounds. Let's jump straight into this. So I'd advise starting with potentially the best gun in zombies, which is the Hauer. Obviously it is personal preference and you can get weapons as you go along, but it's not too much of a problem, but I just like to start with this. It's really good for killing specials later on once you've got it upgraded with Deadwire or your ammo mod of choice. But to begin with, as you'd expect, start getting some kills, get some early points together. Check any nearby houses for loot, as you'd expect. You can hear the boxes, so generally you don't really need to clear the rooms if you don't hear a box. Like I can, there we go. There we go, so that's my next tip, is do not buy tier 1 armor. Just make sure you keep playing and at some point you will get the... I won't take the first secondary weapons you can pick up. Obviously these can be changed later on. Just gives you a backup option in case you get a little bit stuck and you need to reload, etc. You've then got the secondary weapon there. So the first thing I advise to do is the side missions. So we will move over to the protect chest, which as you can see on the map is essentially directly in front of me, and I'll meet you when we get there. So here's the chest. The reason we do the side missions is obviously just to get the extra cash and any of the loot that we're going to unlock throughout doing it. Whichever side missions on round 1, they should be fairly easy to do even without armor or upgraded weapons. Just make sure you keep your distance from zombies. I advise dealing with specials as early as you can. As you can see with the shotgun, even without being upgraded, it is a one-shot kill. Careful not to die, as I nearly just did. Decoys are always great for that situation. If you didn't already know, I'm sure you all do, is the manglers, if you shoot them in the arm, that is their critical weak point, so it's a lot easier to kill. Let that intel while we're there. See what we get out of here. So we got our first perk, which is Deadshot. If you're not running a shotgun, I always advise to pick up a shotgun as a secondary weapon. Obviously I am running a shotgun, so we won't need that. Next we will move on to the... have a look what we've got on this map. So we're actually running a little short on side missions on this map, so we'll go straight to the Skull and Crossbones, which is the corner of the map over there, and I shall meet you when I'm there. And here we go. So we're coming up on the Skull and Crossbones now. This is the second side quest of this map. Well, it's loaded in for my map currently. So we'll just go and find the radio, which is here. Play that recording and wait for it to show us where they spawn. Obviously, you can see from the sky, so it puts a secondary... there we go. So it's a secondary portal in the sky. Alternatively, you can just check your map and it will show you where the and Crossbones has moved to. So this will spawn some special zombie bosses, so do be careful because these can start to overrun you if you're not careful. Obviously that bomb is going to help us massively, do half the damage of the special, and then we can just finish them off with a couple shotgun bullets. Again, being round 1, these shouldn't be too difficult. If you're running the shotgun like myself, you can see that this shotgun does a hefty amount of damage to these guys. One shot each of them. There we go. We got our secondary free perk, which is Juggernaut. Perfect. So we've got my 2 first perks that I'd buy anyway, which is perfect. As you can see, there's no more side missions on the left on the map, so we shall go and do the main mission. So I shall meet you once we get to our holdout. There we go. So we've got started our holdout objective. This will take us into the holdout area, and then we'll just have to survive. Some people do prefer to save up a bit of cash by looting and pack-a-punching before they move into their first holdout, but I find on the first round, assuming you're quite confident in your zombies' abilities, you should be fine on this first holdout. Make sure to take your time, be patient. Keep your lanes clear, don't get stuck if you can. If you do, make sure to be using your ability. As you can see, I've got Frenzied Guard set up. Or Ether Shroud is another great one if you do find yourself getting stuck quite often. Or Ring of Fire, which will increase your damage output and allow you to put down all of those special zombies and zombies that can get you trapped. As you can see, we're now coming to the close of our first holdout. Not been too difficult. As you can see, I'm just making sure to keep moving. Depending on the map, some of the maps are a bit smaller, so it can be easier to hold out a small area. For example, just loop them in. But we're not struggling too much. As I say, some people do prefer to pack a punch before they do their first main mission. I always find level 1's main mission is quite easy with just your base damage from your weapon, so you shouldn't have too much of a problem. But there's no shame in setting yourself up beforehand. Now, they have actually reduced the holdout mission specifically by 30 seconds with the Season 2 Reloaded update, so it has got a little bit easier. But if you do start struggling, just remember, if you do go down and you've got a self-res or a tombstone, the timer will continue and it will res you once you teleport back. So if you do go down with, say, 20 seconds left to go, you can just lay on the floor and wait for it to spawn you back. Just be careful that your timings are on point and you don't die just before you get teleported. Now you can see we've done all of the side missions on the level 1. This is the point where, depending on how your cache is looking, my cache is looking fine and I've already found my first piece of armor. I'm just going to go straight and move to round 2. If you are looking a bit light on cache, or you're playing with some friends, and obviously you've been sharing around the loot, you can now start to explore around, potentially do some of the challenges to get yourself a legendary, but I usually leave that until a bit later. And yeah, just get yourself some points, etc. And I shall meet you at my anomaly. And here we go, so we're at our anomaly, so we will activate that. The reason I like to pack-a-punch second as well is that the pack-a-punch machine is now here, as well as all of the other machines. So it just saves you that little bit of time. So I always advise pack-a-punch into first level. Choose your selected armor, ammo mod even. I prefer Deadwire. It has been nerfed recently, but I still find for the special zombies, it can be really helpful. I wouldn't advise doing your armor yet. I usually upgrade my weapon to begin with. I find 1 armor is a fine amount to start with, and any extra points you can then spend on perks. I'm actually happy with the perks I've already got for now, so we'll save for a secondary pack-a-punch, and then once you're ready you can move through to round 2. So you'll see on the first map we've made sure we've done all of the side missions, we've looted enough if we needed to get our cash up, and we should be leaving with armor tier 1. It's not a problem if you've not found it yet, just wait until the second wave, you should be able to survive without. If not, just kill some more zombies and eventually you'll find it. Crystals are another great way of finding the armor satchels. Make sure you've pack-a-punched if possible. Put an ammo mod on, which is not necessary, but is very useful. And then you are good to go. Perks are optional. Obviously, I found perks. I like to usually find the perks throughout doing the first few side missions, and then I buy the ones I'm missing later on. So again, similar technique. We will go and do the side missions first. So I'll meet you at the Skull and Crossbones, and then we'll go from there. And here we are. This is our next side mission. So we just find the radio, which is here. Wait for where the zombies are going to spawn, which I think generally is just across there, but we'll see. It can change around the map. There we go. So yeah, it's where I expected, just in the river. Again, these will be special zombies, and they usually spawn a couple of dogs, so just be careful. Make sure not to rush. With the shotgun and a dead wire attachment, it should be no problem to kill the special zombies. But as I say, just be careful with the dogs. And if you've not collected the armor yet, just be careful of anything attacking you. You will go down quite quickly without that armor. There we go, there's our first one gone. We got another perk, Tombstone, which in my opinion is the worst perk out there, but we carry on. And the next side mission we do will be the Protector chest. So again, I shall meet you once I get there. And here we are. Our round 2 Protect chest. Forget that, we've got a nice little horde of zombies that was chasing us from the distance over, so we'll just sort those out with a nice little frag grenade. Got a few of them, that should be fine. Again, as usual with these, just keep your distance. Make sure to stay a safe distance away from the zombies. And then once your specials start spawning in, I'd recommend just focusing on those guys. Just clear them out. just so they don't become a problem. We've got a big guy here, wait for him to jump over to us. Then, for everyone who doesn't know, the weak area on those big guys is the face. So if you can break his face shield, and then you can get critical hits on his direct to the head. And that will usually clear him out quite quickly. Just finish off these guys over here. That should give us some loot. Let's see what we get. So we got, weirdly enough, the same weapon we got last time. Quite your full power. Obviously, if you are struggling, just make sure to be using your special ability. As you can see, I've not needed to use mine as of yet, but there's no shame in using it. It will come back, and the full powers will obviously refresh your ability as well, so it's worth using. So we'll have a check on our map again, see if there's any further side missions, which we can't see any, so we'll move straight over to the main mission, and then we've got an eliminate. So these seem to be the easiest challenges, especially early game. And yeah, I shall meet you at the main objective. Here we go, so we're now at the main objective, which is eliminate. As I say, I usually focus on upgrading my weapon with my scrap. On the way here, I did accidentally upgrade my armor. It's not a problem, it's just I usually upgrade the weapon damage first, and then armor. Again, personal preference, some people prefer to upgrade their armor first, whichever you feel is more appropriate for your playstyle. Sorry, just getting some extra loot there, and we shall now do the main objective, which is eliminate. Now they have since changed how this works. So originally, it's a 3-stage boss, so you take a third of his health, he will teleport to the next location. Take another third of his health, teleport to the second location, and then you can then fully kill him at that point. Now originally, if you took his health down and he started to teleport, all of the enemies around you would die. They have since changed that, so at this point, the enemies stay. So you've got to make sure to clear the enemies that are around you, or at least clear the specials so they're not causing you any issues. And then we can follow him to his next location. So they never usually go too far. I believe the longer they're alive, the more zombies are spawning in. When you do get to his location, just try to focus your fire on the main objective boss until he goes immune, like he has there, and then we can start to clear out his minions, shall we say. So deal with those, collect any loot that they've dropped, and then we'll follow him to his third location.
Target reacquired southwest of your position.
Will be his final form, or final teleport, shall I say. We'll get straight over to him. Again, focus on him, get him killed, and now we shall focus on his... Well, normally we'd focus on the guys who spawned in, but we killed him just quick enough where he didn't get to spawn in any further zombies. At this point, as you can see, I've got a fair bit of cash. Coincidentally, I am next to the Pack-a-Punch machine. We've got some scrap, decent amount of scrap coming in as well. At this point, you can have a look around, see if there's any further side missions. Let me just kill these zombies. And just make sure we're in a safe place. Check your map. If there's any more side missions, I advise completing those. If not, we can move on to our third difficulty level. As I say, coincidentally, we are next to the Pack-a-Punch machine, so we're going to Pack-a-Punch to Pack-a-Punch 2. If not, you can just move over to your anomaly, and then the Pack-a-Punch machine will spawn there. So again, I shall meet you at the anomaly. And here we are at the anomaly, so we shall activate that. Have a quick look around like it does that for any loot crates. There's usually one around the beacon. Not always, but generally there is one. At this point, if you've got enough, make sure you upgrade your weapon or your armor. I shall upgrade my armor to tier 3, seeing I've got the rare scrap for that. And then again, any points you've got left, feel free to buy any perks you would like. I'd say, again, it's probably best wait in to see which ones we get out of doing our side missions. And then once we've got all of those ones, we can then go and buy the remainder ones. So we'll move on to the next level, which I believe should be Alpine or Galova. See which one pops up. Galova it is, guys. We'll come into here. So now we're on to difficulty round 3. You'll start to see more specials spawn around the map. Obviously the zombies have got a little bit quicker and a little bit more tough. It's at this point that I would advise, if you want some extra rewards, so extra scrap, extra perks, etc., it's a great time to start doing the challenges. So you can see that on your map as like a little machine. You can see that's like a tape recorder directly in front of where my purple marker is. As you can see there as well, just a little tip for people. If you see a big loot crate, I'd advise trying to shoot it first. And then you'll know if it's a mimic. And you'll also start to unlock some of the challenges, because there's a few challenges that are based on you shooting the mimics before they transform. So it's always worth it. I find it's only ever large loot crates. So you don't need to shoot every crate you see, just the large ones that you spot. Again, it just prevents you getting surprised by the mimics as they come in. I feel like this, being on difficulty round 3, this is probably the last round you will do the side missions. Side note, some people may not know, there is actually a little, I guess, Easter egg jump scare. You'll see these fire zombies spawn in on certain areas of the map. And they can drop rare loot. So we'll just finish these guys off so we can get a full view of what happens. No one else that wants to come join the fun? Are you coming to join the fun? There we go. Yeah, as I say, this is like a little side Easter egg. So they will try and jump scare you. If you can kill them before that, they will drop some loot. I have had ray guns, etc. from them in the past, so it's always worth, if you do see them, going to finish them off. It'll only take a second. As I say, with it being difficulty round 3, this is the potentially the last round I'd say you can do the side missions. There's nothing stopping you doing them going forwards, but if you do want to get to the higher rounds, it's worth starting to run through these pretty quickly. So we will do the side missions, as I say, for this last difficulty round, and then we shall move from there. Again, the dragon can start to overwhelm you, so just be careful. Get into the habit, if you do start to get stuck, feel free to exit the ring. You do not need to be stood in the ring at all times. Obviously, the zombies do need to be stood in there to count towards the soul box, but you do not. So if you start to get a bit stuck, just move outside, clear yourself out, get some health, and then run back inside. And that should assist anyone who is finding it difficult to do the dragon side egg. And they have made a slight change in Season 2 Reloaded. So once you've finished this mission and the dragon starts to fly off into space, which we'll show you in a second, the flames from the rocket do now damage the player. So just be careful not to be stood too close to it. Like most of us have over the past month or two, we stand right here to watch the dragon disappear, but as you'll see right now, once it starts to take off, you are damaged from the flames. So save yourself the hassle, stay a little bit away until it's flown away, and then go claim your loot. See what we get from this. There we go, so we got another set of magnums, but a purple set, so we'll take those. Refill our special meter, which we've not actually used, but... And then we will have a gander around, see if there's any side missions. I can see some schools in that direction. So we'll make our way over to the schools, and then I'll meet you back there. And here we are again at the schools. We'll just finish off the dog that was chasing me here. Start off this mission. Wait for the zombies to spawn in. I think they generally spawn in around that area, but we'll just wait to see where the portal in the sky opens up. Again, you can also check your map and see where the schools have moved to. After playing these maps a few times, you do start to learn the patterns of the side missions. So we'll make our way over to these guys over here. Finish those guys off. There we go, and they will be outside of this. So, got a red guy. Finish him off nice and quickly. I'd always say focus on clearing out the Tempest, because they can start to get quite annoying with how they move around and fire at you. And there we go, we got another 3 perk. We'll collect that up. As I say, focus on the Tempest. And we'll just clear these guys. I can have a nice frag grenade. Clear these guys out. Always welcome for more points. And we'll go collect our loot. And he has dropped a combat boat and a Krig 6, but we'll keep our magnums. There we go. So now we have, I believe, completed the side quest for this area. So at this point, as I say, if you're looking to try and get one way of getting the ray gun, or you're just looking for some extra free perks, then I'd advise doing some of the challenges. These can be done from round one. But I find that in round one, it's a bit slow. It's quite difficult to level up the challenges as efficiently as you'd want. Once you get to round 3, there's enough zombies where we can start selecting a challenge. And then if we had the weapons for it, which we don't really have the weapons for at the moment, then we could start killing zombies and start to level up our challenges. If you're like me and you're at a point where you don't really need anything further, your weapon's pack-a-punch, we could do with a better secondary weapon. But it's not affected us too much at the moment, and we can find one along the way. The specials start to drop legendary drops, so that can be ray guns, it can just be other legendary tiered guns. And it's always worth to pick one up, and then your damage is already upgraded up at that point. And we should move on to doing the main mission. In my opinion, this should be really the last difficulty map level, as I've said, where you should be doing the side missions. At this point, we've sort of got enough cash to sustain us. We've got a few perks that we need, the better perks, and we have our weapon damage in a place where tier 2 with an ammo mod shouldn't really be having any difficulty killing at the moment. And then you can just start running through the main missions. So we'll do this one, we'll jump to the next world, we'll do this straight over to the next main mission, and we'll just go from there. The main missions do give you a nice little points tally at the end of them, and that should be able to keep you going. You'll have seen from my playthrough that I've not actually looted that much around the houses. I find it's not actually necessary. You'll get a lot of loot you need just from doing the objectives you've been working through. And obviously if you do hear or see any of the large boxes on your travels, do make sure to grab them. But I find that you don't necessarily need to go looking for them. A lot of the loot you need, you will just get through playing, as you would be normally. I would say focus on the dogs. I didn't do that very well there. That will help you. Let's collect your loot. I will not move if you're not next to it, so make sure to stay next to it. Again, make sure to kill the dogs. That is the same for any of the Easter eggs. Well, I say Die Machine Easter egg. The dogs are a massive focus in the Easter egg there as well. If you get to the boss fight at the end, make sure to be killing the dogs early, because they will damage the boss over time and stop him completing his task. So it's just a general rule while playing zombies in this game. If there's dogs around, focus on getting them cleared out. They're the quickest zombies, and obviously they blow up or cause status effects, so best to just clear them out. The safer option. Again, clear out the specials if you can. They're the ones that will cause you the most grief. You want to make sure they're all cleared out. Take that monkey. Here we go, coming to the final section of this. So you can sort of see how in these sort of difficulty levels, with this shotgun, especially once it's upgraded, you should have no problem outputting the damage you need. Nearly everything, even some of the bigger bosses at this point, are one shot. As long as we stay next to this rover, we shouldn't have a problem. I can see a Tempest there, so as I said earlier, as well as focusing on dogs, I always find it getting rid of those Tempests. Especially on this escort mission, because if a Tempest does hit this machine, the power goes off and it stops moving for a short while. So just make sure you clear those out.
Identified parameters.
Scan shows a surge of hostiles emerging from breach.
Just go clear this mangler out. Again, just stop it causing any further issues. And there we go, we've done our main mission. Again, once that's set up, we can just start to run off. It doesn't drop any loot.
Scanning.
And this just comes with playing it, but you do start to learn where the beacons spawn.
Now. Appreciate the help.
Here we go, so here's all the machines. So at this point, I can get the perks that I'm missing. And then we can just start saving up for Pack-a-Punches. So we'll upgrade our weapon damage, as I say. Again, start saving up for those with scrap. All my money now will go into getting Pack-a-Punch free once I've got 30k. Then we'll start to look if we see a secondary weapon, or we will pick up either the Ray K or the Ray Gun, which are great additions to this mode. We'll walk straight to the next map. At this point, it is just a rinse and repeat. So we'll jump into the next map, we'll run straight to the main objective, complete that main objective, warp out there, and then just keep doing that and you'll see the rounds start to tick up. The side quests at this point, again, you can do them if you want, get some extra cash and extra loot, but in reality they're not needed and you should just be able to start running through the main objectives really quickly and get into those high rounds we all want. You'll find some of the objectives are more difficult than others, especially at high rounds. Holdout, in my opinion, is probably the hardest, especially at later rounds. But it's definitely achievable. Just make sure you're completely set up before you move into the holdout ones. So you've got decoys or monkeys set up. You've got your special ready. Death machines are usually very useful for holdouts, especially for clearing out the elites. And then, yeah, you just keep going and going until you can't go anymore, essentially, until it starts to get too difficult for you. I believe after round 10 difficulty, the rounds do not get much more difficult as such. The enemies are as strong as they can be, and the super sprinters are sort of everywhere. But then it's just maintaining yourself, especially when playing with friends. It can be a lot easier to finish siege objectives. But you'll see that I've just gone straight to the objective, not interested in anything else.
Your team has been eliminated.
Clear some zombies from this area.
We'll complete the scan.
Once the specimen is in
Oh.
place, the station will initiate genetic data transfer.
Don't do what I just did, because that's how you die. I got stuck and accidentally threw a monkey. Luckily we did get out there with our lives. Some of the bugs do still exist in the game, so as you can see I cannot drop this specimen as much as I want to. That was because I decided to throw a monkey when I had the specimen in my hand by accident earlier, and now I can no longer drop the specimen. Oh, I fixed. There we go. There's the fix for the specimen. There we go, we fixed our specimen bug. We just threw another monkey to clear it out. We did have to waste our monkeys, but the only way to get out of the bug. Place this in here. Again, tip for this specific defend is don't let yourself get stuck in this building. If you need a breather, you need to get out, leave the building. Don't let yourself get stuck trying to defend this little patch here. If it starts to get a bit hectic, just leave the building, give yourself a breather, heal up, come back in, and just make sure you clear the area around where the defend portion is. Again, at these rounds, these missions shouldn't be too difficult. Should just be able to just run through them with your Pack-a-Punch 2 or 3 weapon if you've had the cash already. It shouldn't be a problem. You can just run through these, no problem. And here we go, we're coming to the end of this mission. It's not been too difficult. We've actually not had to leave the building, but as I say, if you do start to get a little bit stuck, remember you can leave the building. The health of this can take some damage. There's no need to worry. There we go, so that one's completed. So we'll move straight over to where we believe the beacon to be. The beacon will either spawn here or it will spawn up those steps. believe this time it'll probably spawn up those steps.
Anomaly
Oh,
located.
okay, it was over
Ready
here.
when you are.
I was incorrect. There must be more than 2 areas that the anomaly can spawn. Generally, it does start to spawn in the same areas, and you'll start to learn those areas. There is a side mission, which is the new Signal Amplify side mission, which will unlock some new music for your game menus. That is probably worth doing if you do spot it. There is a few different tapes. There's a video on my channel if you want to check it out. And that shows you how to do that Signal Amplifier Easter egg side mission. I'll say we've got enough. We can pack punch to tier 3 now. We may be able to upgrade our weapon damage again. We can. At this point, it's just a case of moving through, warping to the next area, hitting that main mission, and then rinse and repeat. And you can just keep going. Eventually, you'll either get a drop with the ray gun or ray K, or you'll find a legendary drop that you like, and you can then pick that up and start to pack a punch it. And it's just personal preference on weapon choice at this point. And thanks for watching the video, guys. That's it for today. Appreciate all the support. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.